Day 13 of doing it scared. If you're watching this for the first time, I thought I would first start with just like what this is and what this means because it's interesting. I've gotten a few DMs about, oh, what is doing it scared? What is it? And kind of get the idea, but I just wanted to restate what this is. I'm a person who is very nervous to be on here sharing my thoughts and feelings and reflections or whatever. And I've wanted to do this for a while. I've wanted to get on camera and I've wanted to talk and I've wanted to create content, maybe as a way to eventually create some kind of streams of income or whatever the promises of creating content. But also, I think that it would be cool just to look back on. And I'm always even like I've tried to do this like for myself personally, just myself personally. And I'm always like cringing at my voice and cringing at my facial expressions and judging every bit of everything. So I decided 13 days ago to go on this journey of doing it scared. And that meant just getting on camera and talking and then posting it and letting the world judge it for whatever it is, and letting myself judge it for whatever it is. And the purpose of doing this scared was also to be like, it doesn't have to be perfect. I don't have to be well manicured. I don't have to have the perfect lighting. I don't have to have the perfect equipment or camera or whatever. Just doing the thing. So this is me. This is my attempt to just do the thing. And I show up each day and I don't know exactly what I'm going to talk about, but I'm always kind of surprised that I talk for 13 to 20 minutes about a bunch of different things, about myself, about what I'm going through, about lessons I've learned. And it's been a fun journey so far. And I wish I could say that I'm already over the fear of it, but I'm definitely not. I definitely get nervous every time I hit post. I definitely get nervous every time I get on here. I shake a little bit. I get a little bit sweaty. My palms get a little bit sweaty. But I do have faith that it will become easier over time. And eventually, maybe these will change into something else, and maybe I will do more, or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll finish the 100 days and get what I wanted to out of it, and that's it. But anyway, today I wanted to talk a little bit about. And that's doing it scared. It's just doing the thing that you're afraid to do, and it might be posting videos. It might be starting that business you wanted to start. It might be going to that audition. It might be singing in front of people. It might be getting on a stage and speaking. It might be writing that book. It might be talking to that person you wanted to talk to. It's any number of things in your life that you're stopping yourself from doing because of fear, because you're afraid to do whatever it is. And I want to be an example of what it looks like doing it scared. Not doing it perfectly either, just showing up and doing the thing. And that's the ultimate goal of this whole video series that I'm doing, is just showing up every day, making a commitment and doing the thing, not perfect, and doing it scared, and leaving all the pauses, the ums, the uhs, the rambles, the just it's not perfect and it's not meant to be. This is meant to show that you can do the thing and maybe even get better at doing the thing as you go. We'll see. I don't feel like I'm necessarily gotten better, but I know that eventually I will. And I'm excited for that day. So before I talk about what I want to talk about today, I'm going to take a sip of coffee. You might notice this mug a lot in my videos. Luke's Coffee. I used to own a coffee shop, and that's not what I want to talk about, but I'll talk about that briefly. I used to own a coffee shop. I owned a coffee shop for 6 years, and it was actually really successful. I closed down during COVID for tons of reasons, but I still have my coffee mugs and my shirts, and it's really cool. Around our town, sometimes I see people with the shirt from my coffee shop. And my coffee shop actually had, I wish I had nearby, but the whole motto for my coffee shop was better days are here. So I had my coffee shop, and then underneath is better days are here. And I love that. That's a part of my life, or something that I've tried to create in my ethos, is realizing that better days are in the present. And if you can have a better day, you can have a better week, you can have a better month, and you can have a better year. So when I had my coffee shop, my main goal was to give a person a better day. So when they walked in, they may have been grumpy and miserable, but by the time they walked out, they would be smiling, even if it was just from sipping their coffee and giving them the energy or the little oomph that they needed to get through the day. Anyway, that's a sidetrack. Today, I really wanted to talk about, and I keep saying that, which is so funny, isn't it? Because I just keep going off on little side tangents, which is cool because it's opening up all kinds of other universes for things that I can talk about in the future, in future videos. And I have a lot of these to do. So anyway, today I want to talk about dreams because last night I had a bunch of dreams and I kind of went in and out, and it was really anxious dreams. I actually, so another side tangent, for work I do a lot of short form media. So I go out, I film with clients, and bring all the equipment and lights and all that stuff. We film a bunch of videos with clients and then come home. So I travel a lot. And the dream specifically last night was about basically missing flights, leaving bags behind, getting to the location that I was supposed to be at without changes of clothes, and then leaving equipment behind and being fearful about losing the client and being like, oh, we have 2 days to film and now I don't have the equipment. I'm going to have to pay a lot of money to go back to get the equipment and come back. And it's just all the fears, right? The fears around it. And what's so interesting about that is that many of you have probably had the dream of missing a test or being late for a test in school. I think a lot of us can share that anxiety. But it's like the same kind of feeling, right? That feeling of, oh my goodness, what if I miss this thing? My life is going to be over. And I wanted to acknowledge that sometimes it can feel that way. And it's interesting that our brains, even my brain, is like sitting playing out this fake scenario that could be actually very real, because it felt very real when I woke up in the middle of the night. I'm like, oh man, am I late? Am I late for my flight? Did I miss my flight? And like all those thoughts. And I'm not traveling for a couple weeks, but just all those thoughts that are running through your mind. And it's really interesting that your brain kind of can play out those things, not only in like during the day, but also at night. And what's so interesting about that is the fact that like we can sit here and we put ourselves through this anxious trauma time and time and time and time again. It's like, well, it's future. It's future. And that might happen, but when it happens, you deal with it. Everybody watching this video has gotten through all the hardest things that they've had to get through. I know, because you're alive and you're watching this video. And I've gotten through all the hard things. So it becomes almost like it feels pointless to play out this thing again and again and again. And I just wanted to reflect on maybe the question of, why am I going through this? Why am I putting myself through this pain during the night, during the day, feeling this anxiety just bubble up inside of me? And I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. It's interesting that our bodies do that. And it's like, well, why live it like not only live it once, but live it like 10 times again and again and again. I think it's just our bodies or our minds wanting to prepare for this inevitable thing. But what's funny about that, when you ruminate and on those anxious thoughts, you actually increase the chance of that thing coming true. I know that because I've done just that. I've worried about flight delays. I've worried about not making it somewhere on time, all the stuff. And guess what's happened when I've really worried about that? When those things have been top of mind and I'm constantly replaying in my head, well, guess what happened? Flight delays. And it's not or I'm late to somewhere. And it's not to say that, that those things, if you don't think about those things, that those things can't still happen. They can, for sure. But ruminating on them beforehand is not helpful unless you really don't know how to deal with a situation. Because I think in a lot of ways we give anxiety a bad rap. It's like, oh, anxiety's bad. I want to get rid of anxiety entirely. Like, I just want to get rid of it. So we take pills, we do drugs, we drink, like whatever it is to get rid of this anxiety because, oh, I don't want to feel this anxiety. But a lot of times anxiety is actually a good thing. Stress is a good thing because it helps us to be prepared. So for me, I could take away from this dream, it's just like, well, dude, just, make sure you have your stuff. Write down a checklist. And then I'm prepared. And then if I prepare early enough, like now, making sure I have everything that I need in place, the chances of that thing happening can decrease in a big way. So a lot of times we look at anxiety as this bad thing, but we can look at it through a different lens. And I love looking at things through different lenses. I love looking at different perspectives that we can look at things. So this anxiety, we can look at, okay, this anxiety is helping me be prepared. So I'm going to be prepared. And once you are prepared, then you have to start telling yourself, okay, thank you, body. I go through this kind of stuff with pain, with everything, and it's such a powerful tool. It's like, thank you for giving me this pain, or thank you for giving me this anxiety. I appreciate it, but I no longer need it. I no longer need it. We are going to be fine, and everything is going to be okay. So just something along those lines. And that type of thing has really helped me over the years get rid of, even pain. I do that with pain a lot too. I suffered with chronic back pain for a long time. In high school, I cracked my lower spine and I had a hard time walking, I had a hard time standing, and it just caused so many problems. And I'll save that for another video. But basically, what I do a lot of times, I'm healed and my body's good now. And what I do now, if pain flares up, if I have a trigger that does something, a stress trigger, and I just sit there and I'm like, thank you for this pain. I don't need it. I appreciate what you're trying to do. You're trying to keep me safe, but I don't need it, and I will be okay. And when I do that, the pain slowly dissipates, or the anxiety slowly dissipates. And I think if we can look at those things through a different lens, and another great lens that I always love, and I think a lot of people say this these days, but it's true. Like, instead of framing anxiety when you're about to get up on stage or when you're about to do a video like this, instead of saying, oh, I'm so scared and I'm so anxious and I don't know, I'm excited. I'm excited for this thing. And you kind of turn that energy a little bit. You start to interpret that energy a little bit differently. And then you show up a little bit differently. It's like, oh, I'm not nervous. I'm actually really excited. And if you make a mistake, it's like, oh, I made a mistake because I'm just so overly excited for this opportunity, this thing. And when you start to reframe this anxiety as it's helpful, it's excitement, those two things, your life can start to change. Yeah, so I guess I'll end this video with that, which is just, if you are anxious, I encourage you to try to reframe it and try not to replay it over and over and over again in your mind. Instead, just use it as a tool. It's like, okay, I have this anxiety. Everything I said, just I have this anxiety. What's it there for? Okay, it's just trying to help me make sure I do this and make sure I'm prepared. Great. I'll make sure I do this and I'll make sure I'm prepared. Oh, what's the other thing? Okay, well, maybe it's just excitement, and that's okay too. All right, guys. Well, guys and girls, I always say guys, and I know that's like, that's just such a habit of mine. But y'all, inclusive to everyone, anyone who's watching this, thank you for taking the time. You are loved and you are enough, and you don't have to be perfect to do the thing. So, day 13, doing it scared. 13, a lucky number, or some might say unlucky. Perspective. I appreciate you if you made it this far. It's such a great time to be alive, and I look forward to continuing this tomorrow. In the meantime, if anybody needs anything, if anybody feels anxious and is not sure how to deal with it, feel free to reach out. Thank you.